Welcome back, Focus Learners. I'm absolutely thrilled you're here today because in this explainer, we're breaking down the biggest wealth-building traps we found directly in our source material. We're going to systematically unpack the 7 hidden pitfalls that kind of keep most people stuck, right? And more importantly, we'll look at exactly how to avoid them so you can build genuine lasting wealth. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. The source actually kicks things off with this incredibly high-stakes mentor quote. If you don't want to be like everyone else, you have to make the sacrifices others aren't willing to make. It's a total reality check right out of the gate. Look, if you're aiming for extraordinary results, you simply can't follow an ordinary path. The decisions you make today, the comforts you sacrifice right now, that's literally what separates the truly wealthy from everyone else.
So here's our roadmap for this explainer. 1. The Real Wealth Foundation. 2. The Illusion of Luxury. 3. Escaping the action traps. 4. Defeating toxic mindsets. And finally, number 5. Expanding your comfort zone.
All right, jumping into section 1, the Real Wealth Foundation, stop working just for money. Because, the absolute biggest trap you can fall into early on is prioritizing a quick paycheck over actual long-term growth.
And this brilliantly illustrates the crossroads everyone faces. You've got path A. It's super tempting, right? You get a comfortable, predictable job, it pays pretty well immediately, and your friends think you're killing it. But your earning potential flatlines pretty fast. Path B, on the other hand, prioritizes skills and equity. Sure, it might mean taking a lower-paying, much more challenging job early on, but over time, your earning potential absolutely skyrockets. Literally, every self-made wealthy person out there has followed Path B.
So how exactly do you walk Path B? Well, the source uses this fantastic Swiss Army knife metaphor. The goal is to acquire high-income, online-based skills. We're talking things like copywriting, video editing, or coding. These make you completely invaluable. And here's a totally fascinating takeaway from the material. While tons of people claim they can do these things, like 99% of them simply aren't up to standard. The real competition is surprisingly low if you actually put in the elbow grease, become exceptional.
Now, the second half of Path B is equity. This means actually owning a piece of the pie to benefit from the profits. Whether you start your own business, earn sweat equity by offering those incredible skills we just talked about, or invest, you've got to first become someone worthy of ownership. You don't just walk in and ask for equity, right? You have to build a rock-solid case by bringing undeniable, massive value to the table.
Moving on to section 2, the illusion of luxury, escaping the flexing game. It's time to address the trap of chasing that fake Dubai Lamborghini lifestyle. The one that's secretly funded entirely by a huge stack of maxed-out credit cards.
I want to hit you with this stark statistical reality. We constantly see people flexing $500 steaks on social media, but the data tells a vastly different story. A staggering 37% of Americans cannot even afford an unexpected $400 expense. Wrap your head around that. So many of those luxury lifestyles you're seeing online are nothing but smoke and mirrors. People are literally drowning in debt just to pretend they've made it.
So here is the absolutely crucial point. Do not confuse depreciating items with true wealth. Flashy cars, designer clothes, expensive dinners, these things actively drain your wealth. Real wealth is built by investing in income-generating assets first. Think stocks, crypto, real estate, things that actually appreciate in value. The golden rule here is to let your assets buy your luxuries later, but only once your foundation is completely unbreakable.
All right, section 3, escaping the action traps, doing it all, and listening to everyone. Let's look at a couple of major operational mistakes people make on their wealth journey, refusing to delegate and suffering from absolute information overload.
The trap of trying to do everything yourself is a massive roadblock. Take Elon Musk, for example. It's super easy to view him as a lone genius, right? But the reality is, he was part of the PayPal mafia, this incredibly powerful, collaborative group of talented tech experts who went on to build empires together. You just cannot achieve massive success completely alone. And hey, for those of you just starting out, there's a huge opportunity in simply acting as the tech bridge for older business owners who are maybe a bit overwhelmed by modern internet tools. Become their team, and you both win.
The other major action trap is cognitive overload. Let's define this. It's basically when your brain simply cannot cope with the overwhelming amount of information, inputs, and choices available to you. We are constantly bombarded, right? Friends, family, social media gurus, all telling us exactly which path to take. When you take general advice from everyone, your brain just shuts down. It doesn't mean you're lazy, it means you're mentally fatigued, and it leads directly to decision paralysis, where you kind of just end up taking no action at all.
So how do we fix this?
To beat that mental fatigue, you need a strict system. Step 1, define your end destination. Just figure out exactly where you want to go. Step 2, work backwards from that specific goal. And Step 3, aggressively filter for expert advice only. Cut out all the general opinions and noise and seek input solely from experts who have actually achieved what you're trying to do. You have to protect your focus.
This brings us to Section 4, defeating toxic mindsets, ego, and blame. We're entering the psychological phase of this explainer now, tackling the internal barriers that act as silent, invisible wealth killers.
Look, the absolute biggest enemy of learning is arrogance. Ego-driven people are often so obsessed with the big picture that they completely ignore the crucial, small steps required to actually get there. The source highlights this concept called the iceberg principle. Basically, what you currently know is just a tiny tip visible above the water. True wealth requires the humility to realize that a massive, crucial chunk of knowledge is hidden underneath the surface, just waiting for you to learn it. In life, you have to make a choice every single day between picking up a magnifying glass or a mirror. The magnifying glass hyper-focuses on others. It's making excuses, playing the blame game, blaming the economy, your boss, the system. It's a total trap. The mirror, however, represents extreme ownership. It forces you to focus entirely on your own controllable thoughts and actions. And believe me, true progress only happens when you finally pick up that mirror. All right, our final phase. Section 5. Expanding your comfort zone, breaking the self-imposed prison. This is the trap of staying entirely static. According to our source material, over half of Brits never leave this self-imposed comfort zone, and a huge percentage live with the anxiety that they'll one day regret it. To truly understand how to break out of this prison, we can actually track the source creator's chronological journey. Take a look at this timeline. It proves that expanding your comfort zone isn't just a one-time event, it's an infinite, lifelong process. He went from leaving a traditional school path at 16 to become an apprentice, to starting side hustles in his 20s, launching a full business in his 30s, navigating a totally new culture in China in his 40s, all the way to starting a YouTube channel at 53 years old. Every single time you push that boundary, the world of possibilities gets bigger and bigger. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a really critical question to reflect on. Look at everything we've covered today. Which of these 7 traps is currently holding you back from the life you deserve? Is it your ego, the illusion of luxury, or are you maybe just stuck in that self-imposed comfort zone? Identify it today. Pick up that mirror and take the very first step toward real wealth. Keep learning, stay focused, and I'll see you in the next explainer.